Man, I don't really want to do this dumb two-paragraph essay, but this thing is worth like 80% of my grade. If only I had someone or some sort of way to do the work without actually doing the work. Well, kid, I got just the diddly darn thing for your small, feeble mind. Generative AI. This thing here is the sole solution to literally everything. Teachers don't want to teach? Use AI. Animators getting too expensive? Use AI. Being social just too darn scary? Use AI. Got a tough essay you don't want to write? Use AI. Wow, this AI thing is so cool. How much is it worth? Everything. Your air, your water, your home, your entire ecosystem, your... I've always wondered, what really is generative AI? Like, why do people use it all the time? Like, is it a good thing or a bad thing? Honestly, that's a pretty good topic. Do you think that's a pretty good topic?
Absolutely.
Yeah, alright, yeah, I think that's a pretty good topic. Alright, let's go. Let's just do it. Okay, so this plan is simple. First, we find out the difference between generative AI and regular AI. Then we then talk about the bad that it's caused. Like, honestly, I don't think there's anything remotely good about generative AI. Then I interview people that I know, including the person who's sitting right next to me, about what they think of generative AI. And then we talk about some genuine replacements that you can use instead of AI, and honestly just how to avoid using generative AI, mainly because all of a sudden every single company wants to fucking make you use it. Like, god damn it. And then we go ahead and have some pizza or something, because we all love pizza.
Segment 1. What's the difference?
Okay, so by name, what would you, yes you, assume are the differences between generative AI and just plain old regular AI?
Is mayonnaise an AI?
Well, since you, my dear, sweet, super awesome viewer, actually used your wonderfully smart, gigantuous, another word for giant, brain, you should know that generative AI is something that is quite self-explanatory. Generative AI, by definition, is a subset of artificial intelligence focused on using generative models to create various types of data, such as text, images, or videos. These models typically produce content based on specific prompts or inputs provided by users. TLDR, it's basically a subgenre of AI that's mostly centered around generating different things like videos, drawings, and just like essays and all that other kind of stuff. Generative AI is normally the thing that most people think of, when they hear the word AI. And see, this is mostly because these big name companies that I can't and won't name because I don't want to get sniped off the face of the earth, constantly pushing this agenda that we need an AI assistant or AI partner or AI friend, or we need somebody to help us do our homework, or we just need somebody that's not really there. Now, regular AI, by definition, is technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human learning, comprehension, problem solving, decision making, creativity, and autonomy. AI in general has been around for years, and when I mean years, I mean like literal decades. The term AI was originally coined in the mid-1950s, along with the genuine work starting around that same time. AI, to me, honestly, has been used in video games ever since Pac-Man, and probably since Pong? Probably? Yeah. It's mostly used for algorithms and just to make people who actually works, life a whole lot simpler. Okay, so now that we know the difference between generative AI and just plain old regular AI, let's talk about the negatives of generative AI. Segment 2.
What the
Free
to our planet?
But Justin, what would be the negative thing about this thing that's making my argument so easy to win? Like, tell me.
Well, my ugly, disgustingly ugly, like super ugly friend,
Hey.
AI is doing exactly what you are not. Can you guess what that is? Wasting water. According to the source, OpenAI CEO claims that each ChatGPT query only uses about 0.00085 gallons of water, roughly 1/15 of a teaspoon. Now, you may be wondering, but Justin, that's not that much water. And I would say to you, you are right. It's not that much water by itself, but when it's literally using 193 million gallons of water, it's a lot. And like, I'm 90% sure that we don't even drink that much water in like a year. Like, as a society, I'm 90% sure we don't drink that much water. I'm pretty sure we do. I don't really know.
We couldn't name them. The companies.
Yeah, but like, honestly, at this point, I really don't care.
Okay, lawyers.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's all? That's not even enough evidence to prove that generative AI is bad. I mean, water. Who needs that?
More evidence? You want more evidence? Alright, bet. Not only it's wasting a lot of water, it's also like making a lot of tech more expensive. Like RAM prices have shot up so badly that even video games, I said video games. Ooh, jingle, jingle, jingle. Ooh, video games. That's your favorite word, right? Jingle, jingle, jingle. Are being affected by it, you know? For example, the PS5 was originally $500. You want to know how much it is now? Guess how much? Guess how much?
Is it less than mayonnaise?
No, it is currently $650.
In Monopoly money?
No, actual money. You know, matter of fact, generative AI, and I'm mostly talking about chatbots right now, have taken a huge toll on how we as a society functions. I'm gonna keep that in. Matter of fact, like, people can't even think for themselves anymore. Like, they act like they need an AI or like anything. They act like they need either something involving ChatGPT, Gemini. There's so many different AIs that people use, and like, it's just but like, you can't even have arguments online without having some dummy say, Rock, is this true? Like, brother, you have the internet, a place with infinite knowledge that's been passed on from generation. It's nice to look up like every specific problem that you're dealing with. Like, no, it's nice to look up a very specific problem that you're dealing with, right? And then you find out that a singular problem, that specific singular problem has an answer that's been up for like years. You feel me? And like, it's really sad too, because mostly it's making us as a society more distant and antisocial. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm an awkward guy who mostly sticks to his inner circle, but I feel like I wouldn't have made the great friends that, you know, you're probably gonna meet relatively soon. I wouldn't have made them if I just kept to myself. My word of advice, honestly, is, even if it's corny as shit, the only way you could truly make friends and meet people is to, 1, be yourself, and 2, just try to be the best version of yourself, because you only live once. So make it the best life you can have. Like, step out of your comfort zone. Chime into conversations about topics you're interested in. Literally, just kind of talk first. Don't try to be the nonchalant person that's just sitting there in the corner like, oh man, I really hope somebody could really talk to me right now, man. I'm like, oh man. Like, and you know what? The main reason why I have so many complaints about generative AI, and mostly just AI chatbots, is because it's just being forced down our throats by like these big companies that want you to rely on this stuff. They want you to isolate yourself and talk to an artificial being that will probably manipulate you, or even worse, actually harm your mental state to the point of offing yourself. Like, I know. I misspoke. I missaid a word. Shut up. And like, it's the way that people immediately switched up on actual artists, writers, coders, and people who actually do work once generative AI got popular enough for big name companies to replace these people. Hell, it's not even just entertainment either. It's actually generative AI is affecting schools too. They're replacing teachers. They're making people use like Chat GPT and just relying on that kind of stuff. Like, there's no such thing as just straight up learning anymore. And then once we figure out, oh man, you're using ChatGPT, man, we can't let you, we can't let you pass. It's all of a sudden, oh, but you guys, like, I'll admit, the school system is royally screwed. The school system is screwed. But, like, you only use the excuse of, oh, I'm only using generative AI because I just want to pass, when you have a teacher that's really crappy, But you see, that's exactly what these big name companies and higher ups really want. For us to be stupid and replaceable slaves that can earn them more money. And that's what's wrong with generative AI. I just really hope that the bubble pops and all this stuff can just disappear so that we can focus on getting the earth to be a better place.
Would you call me using AI to make art? Would you call me a artist?
No. You know what? I'm using a bit from another friend's video. Security! Alright, well, now since we know what's wrong with generative AI, let's get some other points of views from what people think about generative AI. Mostly my friends. Why? Because I'm too scared to talk to people. Okay, so I'm here with
Michael.
And I'm gonna ask Michael some questions, so let's get to it. Question 1. What is your first reaction to the word AI?
Yuck.
Okay. And what is your general stance on generative AI?
Negative.
If generative AI had an ethical energy source, would your opinion change on the matter?
Not really.
Why so?
I feel like generative AI takes up a lot of space that could be used for true artists, true human being artists. And even if it's sourced ethically, it's still artificial. It's still taking jobs. You could still have somebody else drawing your posters instead of a nasty, glitchy generation. I just find it gross. I don't like it.
I agree.
I don't find it cool. It looks bad.
Have you been able to avoid interacting with like generative AI? Like, have you used ChatGPT before? Have you used like any kind of AI chatbots?
No. I tested one once.
And if you could, would you want to impose like new rules or regulations on like AI chatbots?
Yeah. It shouldn't be open to the free public. People are making nudes of each other. There's so many nasty things they're doing with the AI.
And I fully agree with you. Like, that shit's disgusting, honestly. Yeah.
Shouldn't go out to the public.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I am with
Hera.
all right, so Hera, question 1. What is your first reaction to the word AI?
Sort of bad noise. I don't love it.
And what is your stance on generative AI?
I don't think we should be using it. I think there are very, very few, okay uses of it, and none of them are in the creative sphere. I think that if you're a grown-ass person with a grown-ass job, you can write your own emails, and I think a lot of the arguments for it, especially in the art sphere, do not hold up.
If generative AI had an ethical energy source, would your opinion on generative AI change?
Well, I mean, I'd argue that the water's not so much an energy source as it is a resource that's used, because as you know, they use it for like cooling the servers, not for powering them. I will say it would push my opinion to slightly more favorable, but like that's sort of like going from like the 9th ring of hell to like the 8.5th rank of hell. Rank? Oh, I guess it is frozen over.
Yeah.
Ring. But like, yeah, it would improve my opinion, but my opinion is so far in the negatives that improvement won't do very much.
Have you been able to avoid interacting with like any kind of generative AI?
I have actually. At least in the last few recent years, I do remember when it was like, I don't know, maybe 2021, and AI image generation was like the new fad. I did experiment with it once or twice to see what the data amalgamation would look like, because I thought it'd be interesting, and it wasn't. So, and aside from that, I stopped using Grammarly around the time when they got all functionary.
Yeah, no AI. Yeah, I miss
Maybe
some
don't
Grammarly
mention
as
the
well.
brand names in the video. I don't know.
Yeah, I've already kind of mentioned ChatGPT in
Yeah,
the video.
okay,
It's
so-
alright.
But yeah, no, I've never talked to a chatbot, and I don't intend to. I think something good waits for me on the other side for resisting. And during my, I was doing a similar project to Justin here, where I was like researching about AI companions and their effect on teen mental health. I was interested to see if I could play around with it and try and recreate some sort of disturbing study results. But, like, I don't need to give myself a new mental illness. I have enough. The data already speaks for itself, and it would just be confirmation bias.
Alright. And final question. If you could, would you want to impose new rules or regulations on chatbots?
Oh god, this shit has to get regulated. I mean, so many, especially teenagers, have, you know, gone off the rails, committed suicide. Like, I mean, there have been a bunch of studies showing that, you know, chatbots can feedback game and target users that they see as vulnerable based on chat history and give them different, crazier responses than other users. And that sort of like backdoor programming makes stuff way harder to detect. And also, like, having the sort of, like, I think they call them frictionless relationships, where, like, they never tell you no, is not at all good, especially for developing brains and kids who are still figuring out how to be people and interact with people. And I think it's just unchecked corporate greed. And it's gross. And remember, like, 5 years ago when we didn't use any of this shit? Why have we all forgotten 5 years ago when we didn't use any of this shit?
Because now people are more preferring ChatGPT over just like a regular Google search. But like then
And,
again,
yeah,
Google's using AI also.
Google
So like,
sucks too. And you know what? I'm gonna do a quick plug here. I managed to get rid of the AI overview on my Google. You go to like Chrome
the web store, and I
download
just
Bye
did
Bye
that.
Google AI.
Yeah, I
can
actually
post
have that.
you,
I
yeah.
actually have that as one of the alternatives.
Yeah, and I think you gotta put at least 2 in there. While you're at it, put in like the YouTube like playback speed controller.
Yeah.
And if you put in 2 different versions of uBlock, you can turn one of them off for YouTube, and it still works. Like it won't say like video unavailable, but you still have the other ad blocker running in the background, so it tricks it. And YouTube's not gonna like me saying that, but fuck 'em. Anyway, yeah, thank you for your questions.
No, thank you.
And yeah.
All right, cool. Okay, so now that we know the difference between generative AI and regular AI and the really bad things that come from it, I would like to talk about alternatives. First one is search engines. Instead of using Google or Bing, which mostly push or attempt to push, generative AI with like their AI overviews and everything, I would say to try to find alternatives like DuckDuckGo, not sponsored by the way, mostly due to the fact that their AI stuff is mostly not even mostly, it's like totally optional and can be turned off with like one simple click. Next up is social media. I would like to say that most social media platforms should have a setting that you could turn off to avoid using / feeding AI. But TikTok is the most recent one to implement an AI remix thingy, and they sadly deleted that ability to turn it off. Like literally recently. I honestly don't know / remember when they had turned it off, but it sucks. But to my fellow artists, there are a lot of websites that you can use that are heavily anti-AI, such as Newgrounds, Character Hub, Tumblr. Kind of. That one's a bit iffy because like you're able to turn it off, but just saying this one's like a heavy maybe. I would just say, eh. And Unveil, which is not sponsored also, but I would really love to have a sponsor by Unveil. Unveil is really cool. And yeah. Okay, so with research, right? Just do it yourself, man. Like honestly, just do it yourself. But if you need help with finding resources or like anything like that, you could use your choice of search engine. But if you insist on using Google, you could either put -AI at the end of your search prompt, or you could click on the more button and click on the web button that's right underneath the news button. Most of these solutions require you to actually search and find these things in their settings, so make sure you research while putting -AI at the end of your search. Trust me, I kind of just learned this recently, and I want more people to know about it because it's honestly cool. But again, I feel like Google should do something kind of like DuckDuckGo, where you're just able to just flat out turn it off. That's it. But also, I just found out this, but if you use Google, you could also like go on the Chrome web store and just search up no AI. The one that I'm using right now is Clean Search. I'll link it in the description because honestly, this one's actually pretty cool. I didn't expect it to work, but it's a Chrome add-on, so of course it would have worked. But yeah. Also, there are like a lot of people, a lot of organizations, lots of like just stuff in general that are like actively fighting for like, these big name companies to stop using AI and just like AI overviews and all that other kind of stuff. And I honestly can't find any. Honestly, no, I can. It's just the fact that there's so many that I downright just don't think a list would like specifically do them justice. I say take your time to research them and look them up so then you could give your full support on them, because honestly, they're doing some really nice work and they're doing what most of us, want to. Man, alright. I honestly swear this stuff is like, doing stuff like this is really never that easy, Man, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. That was the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. You know what? Thank you. Thank you, my dear friend, for showing me the error of this generative AI. And thank you for letting me know the differences and all that other stuff. Honestly, I will take all of your advice and try to do my part in making the world a better place. And you take my word for it. I will try. Well, I honestly say that even though this video is kind of chaotic and kind of unprofessional, I still say that, like, we've got a large amount of work done. I've taught you guys about, the differences between generative AI and just regular AI. I talked about some of the genuine negatives that I personally think of. We interviewed some of my friends and peers, from around where I live, honestly, and got some outside opinions on it. And we talked about how we could just straight up avoid using generative AI, honestly. So, I think that was really well. I think that went really well. And now it's time for me to enact the final part of the super awesome plan that I planned in the beginning of this video. I'm gonna go ahead and get some pizza. So, yeah. See you.